Welcome everyone to another episode of Around the Block Talk. Today we have with us a distinguished speaker, Mr. Arijit Bhattacharyya. So he's the CEO of and founder and CEO of Virtual Infocom, and an industry veteran with multiple years of experience in the field. So thank you very much for coming to the show today, and I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine. It's been a pleasure to come here and then probably sharing my little bit of experience that I have. Because this is more on blockchain, I will keep a very short introduction of mine. So I'm founder of Virtual Infocom, which is India's one of the oldest game development studios, started back in 1998. And we started completely with our own game titles, with own characters. And that's what we started when probably there was no ecosystem in India. And we thought to create a complete different kind of structure altogether in the gaming industry. So what we did in 2007 onwards, we started taking real actor and actress and then converting them into a 3D digital character, and then started creating superhero-based games, which is our own game title. We produced definitely lot of different games, and about 350 plus celebrities and models across the world. We took them as a character, which includes Shaktiman, Mr. Mukesh Khanna, which includes definitely many other celebrities like Jeet, Priyanka, Moinak, Dipanjan, Urvashi, a lot of long list of characters that we have created. And what happened in 2010, we have been watching that the industry vertical has been shifting to complete different dimension altogether. So we hopped into the augmented reality space. And before that, in 2001, I used to do Varmal coding, which is virtual reality markup language. So I'm a self-learned coder and animator, and of course, a game maker. So we started as a gaming institute, gaming production unit. And 2008 onwards, I became an angel. I started investing into startups and early stage, growth stage companies, expanded that complete horizon into a complete different vertical of company called Entrepreneur Face, which usually helps startups to create their amazing pitch decks and then definitely raise fund. Eventually, I started World Leader Summit, which is 95 countries business network and a community. We celebrate it as a summit every year, every December. So last year we did that with 95 countries, 146 change makers, with each and every day 15,000 people footfall. In March, we did an investor roundtable in Dubai, wherein 10 different countries came from 4 different continents with 5 different kind of structured investors pool that came physically to help these startups grow. We floated our own accelerator called Co-Innovate Ventures, which is basically an accelerator and a fund. And we usually come into the growth stage companies or the revenue stage companies. Regarding blockchain and crypto, I would love to share something with you guys. In 2017, I started consulting crypto wallet companies who started their wallet and then wanted to grow. I helped a co-working place based out of one part in Asia and Europe, both, to start probably one of the first co-working place based on blockchain. Spoke in a lot of different conferences till date. I really forgot how many number of speech that I made. So far, so good. I sit as a jury member into Startup India Award, into Industry 4.0 as a panelist, and definitely as a consultant to Asian Development Bank, couple of different banks that I consulted so far, like many different corporates. And yeah, I think I can go on, but I would stop myself over here and would probably love to share something which is very close to my heart, mainly with blockchain. So in blockchain, I have worked with supply chain management, with healthcare, with definitely crypto and sports, which is really interesting. So I would be asking our host to probably ask questions and we can take it forward from there.
Sure. Thank you very much for that introduction. So now moving on to the space of blockchain. So how did you get into this space and what excites you? about this particular space?
Brilliant. So what happened? It actually happened all of a sudden. Few of the European guys, they wanted to upgrade and migrate their ecosystem, which they started in Ukraine. So they have been talking to me online in LinkedIn. I have been interacting with them. We started interacting and started to understand what they are looking for. And I understood that they are looking for a decentralized system altogether. So from the perspective of a decentralized system, when we are thinking of making some disruption, we met in some part in Asia. We started discussion, and I felt that this is the right time so that I can probably create their entire structure to make their co-working space not as a physical one, but into the virtual world. Unfortunately, because of the war, what we created, it used to call it as Unity Towers in Ukraine. It's a meet in between Odessa city. Everything has been destroyed, but I'm sure that these guys are safe now and their system still works. So what we created in 2018, from 2017 to 18, is a long 1 year production that we did. We created an entire ecosystem of co-working spaces who can come forward and then share everything as an ecosystem and then communicate. It becomes a resource. It becomes a complete structure for startups to come and expand their knowledge base and as well as do network. It used to be a social network. The company which started it called BR Office, Blockchain Related Office. Unfortunately, I am not sure whether these guys are safe at the moment, but that's how the story actually started. And after that, I did a lot of different projects based in the Middle East and US. I can go on with those answers if you feel that that is helpful.
Sure. So since you've been into game development, so definitely one use case of blockchain would be metaverse today, and we see many things happening over there. So what are your views on this particular space, and where do you see blockchain actually fitting into metaverse?
Okay, so what we are doing in blockchain is pretty interesting. We are actually definitely converting our assets into the block itself so that it is secure and nobody can copy it. There is an encryption level that goes on. And definitely for, if you look at gaming monetization model, there are in-app purchase, right? So in in-app purchase, either you play it with real money or you do it with virtual currency or you do it with the crypto money. So we are doing 3 of these kind of structures into our game that we create. So definitely blockchain plays a very vital role. And interesting part, we are coming up with a portal for all the indie developers. Hopefully it will be launched very soon, which will be a solo local app store for indie game developers who can publish their game through our monetization model. There also you are utilizing definitely all these 3 models so that people can have some benefit and advantage. I would probably love to touch upon something which is a future which is coming up. If you allow me, I'll be happy to share.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So as you know, there are augmented reality glasses which is coming up in the market. So if we look at those augmented reality glasses, usually the AR glass comes with a very smart glass kind of concept. In smart glass, in future, very soon, you will see that the IoT implementation factors will be huge. And any AR glass will have an implementation factor of artificial intelligence, which will be connected with a centralized mechanism. There, blockchain plays a very vital role. Well, I'll tell you a story what's going to look like in probably in near future. Just think of it as a smart car, maybe Tesla. You're wearing your augmented reality glass, which is actually connected with your nervous system. It actually detects your health condition. It can understand your mechanism of body work. For an example, it can understand your body clock needs probably tea or probably some food in certain times. So it can understand you as you, right? So when you are hungry or probably when you need something, the AR glass will automatically communicate and connect the nearby store wherein you usually order your food. So what happens when you are working or maybe you are driving, the glass itself will give you a ping notification that whether you are hungry or you need something, you need some chocolates, you need some biscuits, or you need some cookies, right? Or you need some Ayurveda solution. If you say yes, if the answer is affirmative, definitely with your face recognition, with your probably retina recognition, it will order your food to that particular store. So you don't need to go or you don't need to use any kind of app in your future. It will be done automatically with your taste and preference. And from that store, when you get that order, the payment is already done from your banking system or your credit card or your debit card or whatever you're using. If you're using a wallet of crypto, it is done automatically. The reason is the entire system is into the chain itself. So from the AR glass perspective, this is my smart glass. This is going to connect with my healthcare system, and it gives you the same similar kind of order to your nearby store, and it deducts the money from your card and it directly goes to that particular store. If you're not happy with the product, it has a mechanism of reviving it back from the legal system itself. So lot many countries in today's world, if I take example, are moving towards such kind of smart mechanism. This is what we call a part of smart city. Smart city is not about only creating amazing buildings and then the entire city is connected with Wi-Fi or the CCTV camera. No, it is the centralized mechanism which is connected with public, with health, with legal system, with lot many other facilities. So this is the one of the best solution that is coming up in near future. And if we look at the healthcare mechanism, in near future, you will see that robotic heads and robotic hands will play a very vital role, which will probably bring a revolution into the surgery system. So the robots are not going to do the surgery, but the surgeon who is doing it, these hands and heads are going to have a helping mechanism for these people. Now, to do that help, you need a recording mechanism. You can't just do it on a video recording mode. If this is centralized connected with blockchain, all these things are into your block mechanism for future reference. So from student perspective, or probably another surgeon wants to have second line of opinion, or they want to check it out, they can do it with a very secure mechanism so that nobody can access it. There is no question of data theft. Not only that, these are very, very sensitive information. So these informations can be communicated with a very, very optimized level of utilizing blockchain. I can go on, but probably I'll be asking you to ask me several questions as you want.
Sure. So now you mentioned that the data, you want to store this particular kind of data on blockchain, and some of the qualities, the immutability, the security, these qualities would be useful of the blockchain for this kind of data. So what kind of ecosystem do you see forming around blockchain? And definitely a big use case of blockchain would be IoT devices when they transact information, when they transact value. So what is your vision and where do you think the space is going?
Can I answer this with some real example?
Sure.
Yeah. So I will go on with one of the cases probably. There was a company whom we met. Actually, I met them in Dubai itself in this investor roundtable. They wanted to raise fund. They were mainly into oil and gas. They had a gas station. Along with the gas station, they have a bookstore and a cafe. Wanted to raise fund and wanted to disrupt the market. Now, if you look at the gas station as a whole, it works as an individual approach, right? What I propose them, why don't we create an ecosystem for these gas stations? And that ecosystem should be done in blockchain, along with a little bit of tip on the cake, probably maybe a cherry on the cake, which will be definitely a augmented reality related glasses powered by AI. So the solution is pretty simple. Imagine that I'm driving the car and I enter into your gas station. The camera detects me, it understands that it's me, and it understands that what kind of gas I usually take almost every day or almost every week. Depends on the person. And what kind of taste and preference I have for the cafe, or if I usually like some books. It can detect and understand it. So what happens when you have understanding of your consumers, your customer acquisition cost becomes really, really amazing. Number one. Number two, from the government perspective, they understand the entire data. You don't need other analytical people from external purposes. From all these data, which is collected through these ecosystem and mechanism, these can be analyzed by data scientists to understand the consumption level of a city, right? So the consumption level can be detected utilizing blockchain. Now, if you ask me why, we can do it probably in some other mechanism. We can agree, there is no question about it. But if you are using blockchain as a mechanism, one of the best possible option, number one, it runs some quantum. So the fastness of that data, mining and integration and accessing is amazing. That cannot be done by some other mechanism. That's number one. Number two, security. Number three, which is more vital, your social security number, if that is connected with these kind of system, as a government, I have a mechanism to understand how I can improvise the entire ecosystem and the system. Now, these kind of solution can be implemented city-wise, state-wise, country-wise, and definitely it becomes a huge opportunity to create an entire ecosystem of these people so that we can understand from the alternative energy perspective, or if we are looking for EV charged cars or bikes or cycle, whatever you're looking for, how much it's needed and how we can probably uplift the entire mechanism of social impact. So these are the things which probably we are thinking of if we are talking about real groundbreaking solutions. And Pratik, when I travel in any part of the world, I usually see a lot of opportunity. If you look at travel tourism based countries, for an example, Sri Lanka is right now facing a lot of issues, right? Agriculture there is not that optimized condition. But if we think of uplifting that entire structure with travel and tourism, because this is one of the most vital case, which has been impacted by COVID. When you create solution for people who are traveling into those countries, just for travel and tourism purpose, nothing else, okay? So there are three different kind of people, which usually defined by the travel tourism industry. Number one sector is the family people who usually go with the family. They want to enjoy with their family. Second kind of group that usually travels with backpackers. They usually go either alone or maybe with a group. Third kind of people are usually a combination of business as well as travel. So if we look at those kind of structure, the entire blockchain ecosystem can uplift the entire structure. Number one, utilizing the crypto coins. If people don't want to carry their currency, and if the country is open enough to accept cryptocurrencies, and that can be converted with real objects, maybe that coin is hedged by precious metal or maybe supported by some other project. These can actually change the entire, how would I define it? Probably it can be one of the solution for such countries who are looking for a disruption. Now, those disruptions can be defined in various ways. Number one, there are crypto miners who would love to do that. Number two, there are crypto investors who usually invest money and they usually chill out in some part in Asia, some parts in Europe. They want to enjoy their life. While doing that, they want to work. So life and work balance for them, because these are indie people with a common ecosystem, is really, really amazing and awesome. And I would love to define something probably in 2018, if I'm not wrong. I was traveling to Thailand and I met a guy who is very well connected with the ministry, and they wanted to create a cafe based out of crypto, and they named it as a crypto beach, and I helped them to create the entire structure of that particular cafe. So what happens? You go to that cafe in Phuket, you go there and then you convert your cryptocurrency over there. You have food, you probably go for a subscription, you work there with your workstations. There is a full-fledged facility with Wi-Fi, with common kind of people, with free coffees and all, and then you work your own livelihood. So there are freelancers who usually do that. So probably we are missing all these kind of small dots. Now, when we talk about creating ecosystem, maybe These kind of technological solutions are one of the best solutions which we can implement and integrate. Yeah.
Right, certainly. So you see an entire bigger vision where the entire data backbone of a country or a city can be based on blockchain itself, right? So, and also this, I believe this would enable interoperability, so that if someone wants to change their state, someone wants to change their country, they can take some of their data with them because of the data ownership that blockchain enables. So, on a larger vision, so since you mentioned many of these small dots that can be connected with blockchain technology. So, as a larger vision, what are the possibilities for an entire nation to have all their data in blockchain, and what do you think this can enable for a country?
It's actually very tough to answer such kind of intelligent question. But to be very honest, technology is evolving day in and day out. And if we look at today's time, if we look at NFT as a possible upcoming opportunity for people, if we look at metaverse as a platform. So when Facebook announced metaverse as a platform, lot many other corporates, other companies, they're coming up with their own metaverse. In fact, lot many religious gurus, they are up to creating their own metaverse world so that the land can be brought by their followers, um, system can be done, maybe some spiritual things can be done online, and online shopping, definitely that is one of the possibilities. Those things are coming up in a different vision and different structure altogether. Now, if I may consider our Mother Earth, there are social impact projects which has been created by lot many startups, probably not from India, but out of India. They are doing really amazing work. I know few bit of Turkish people. I know a couple of Spanish guys who have created amazing such kind of ecosystem. And definitely, I would love to mention one of our invested portfolio company based out of US. They are also doing such kind of bigger system itself. So what happens when I'm answering such kind of small ecosystem answers? From the bigger perspective, from the government perspective, all these ecosystem comes together as a solution. If you look at UAE as a whole structure, they are actually building the entire country at the moment, and that expansion is going so fast. Probably we can't even think of until unless you are staying there and you can see this in your own eyes. Every time when I travel to Middle East, every probably 3 months, the change is happening, and the change is really good and better. What they are doing, they're trying to optimize all those kind of power which is unnecessarily used in some part of the world. So when you build smart city as a concept, some of those cities, some of those countries are utilizing IoT as a solution and solar power and wind power as a solution for alternative source of electricity. And guess what? All these mechanisms are controlled and created by the system which you call as a console, and that console is created utilizing blockchain as a solution. One of the sole reason is when you, as a private party, when you create such kind of solution, you have probably a windmill, which is your partner, and you are doing it for an alternative source of power, and your dashboard is well connected with the local ministry. Eventually, you can float a new coin in the market. Your valuation is already up. So when you come with a new coin, people will buy it, and definitely your valuation goes a little bit of higher. So those kind of disruption is actually coming up and happening, and I can foresee probably in near future our Bharatvarsh will adopt such kind of groundbreaking solution. In fact, in that case, I would love to mention that drone technology earlier was completely different, and today's time it is being accepted and it is helping a lot of people. And Prateek, when I started entering into the blockchain market and I entered into crypto world 2018, I had a fear that whether I should say that I'm into crypto in India or not, because at that time crypto was not recognized, and people felt that, oh my God, if we do some kind of event with crypto, maybe this is not proper, this is not loyal. But look at us now with that new policy. A lot many money is flooding at the moment. And that's the disruption probably we are watching. And that's the disruption probably we will be having. If you look at banking system, I consult a little bit of course, global banks. If you look at banking system, well, if you want to send money from India to US or probably US to India, at least it will take 1 day, at least 1 working day. Okay. But if you're using blockchain as a solution, you want to send money, it can be done in few milliseconds. It's that fast. And if I'm waiting for 1 day, why shall I lose that transaction value, which is changing each and every day for dollar to currency? If we are doing it with a smart contract, with smart system, then there is no chance of losing my own money. So probably we need to think a little bit of understanding how smart ecosystem can be built and how we can probably share a little bit of more optimized way of data, currency, and analyze our own systems. Last point I would love to mention, there are a lot many startups who are coming up with mainly with data analysis. Now, if we are talking about data analytics or data science as a mechanism, blockchain plays a very vital role, amazing role, to be very honest. And if you look at larger companies, corporates, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, all these companies are actually thriving on what? Data. They are not thriving on definitely their search engine or maps. They're thriving on the people data. And that's the reason governments in Europe, they first declare the GDPR, which is probably till date in India, is not that stable yet. But with the implementation factors of new technologies, probably we need to come up with such kind of solution. And I would love to share a few bit of inputs, maybe in some other talk regarding the GDPR rule, which can be done and probably which can be solved by blockchain as a system itself.
Sure. That's great to know. So maybe now let's coming particularly to India. And so what do you think are the opportunities for India? What kind of things we can build, and how we can upskill the youth of the country to actually make the most of these new technologies?
Pratik, what I have seen so far, India is so far so good. They're doing really fabulous work, right? India's youth, if we talk about India's youth, I'm not sure whether you will support me or not, but today's kids are much more smarter than probably the age group that we are at the moment. If we look at age group of 12 to 17, these guys are self-learners. They don't expect that somebody will teach them from theoretical perspective. Because of the access of internet, these guys can self-taught. These guys are learning their own. They are learning graphics, they are learning coding, they are learning economics, they are learning science. And I know a lot, many group of such people who are self-taught young kids who understand Python as a language. Believe me or not, in 2001, I was shouting about Python as a language. On that time, I was doing a different kind of coding altogether. I was using Yahoo search engine as a search engine. That time, of course, I didn't know about Google search engine. I don't know whether they exist at least in India or not. But Internet Explorer used to be our you can say mode of communication with internet. And utilizing Yahoo search engine, I found that somebody was talking about Python as a language. So I picked that up. I was like coding with Python, and look at us now. Python is one of the smartest language at the moment. And I would love to mention a couple of kids like probably Yash. Yash is a young kid who can develop the entire blockchain. He's I think, 13, 14-year-old kid now. That fellow can create bots. That fellow is making the entire ecosystem by just utilizing his brain powers from where he is learning it. So all these kids, I would love to mention probably Bharat, Kushal, all these kids, I know them in person. They are not acting as individuals. They are creating their own pool of kids. They are creating their own pool of people. So they are communicating with each other. They are asking that, if you are good in probably coding, can I be good in maybe graphics? Can we handshake with each other? Can we create some kind of product altogether? They don't care whether they will be earning money or not. They don't care whether they will be creating a partnership company or not. It is not coming in their brain because these guys are young enough for disruption. I see India, young India, as a mode of disruption for the entire world. Probably this is the right time for our Bharatvarsh to come as Bharatvarsh, not as a given name as India. And these guys, these kids are going to rock. I'm sure about this.
Sure, sure. And with blockchain, we have many kind of products coming up. We have gaming, Web3 gaming on blockchain. We have social media. We have, many different kind of products. So, how do you see, which products are going to probably win in the market, or which products are going to adopt blockchain today? And where do you think which product should actually adopt blockchain? What are your views on that?
I personally feel that if you are looking for some smart system, definitely a blockchain plays role in each and every industry. It's not restricted into some particular industry. But to be very specific, fintech is going to probably see a lot of disruption with blockchain as a solution provider. Second, healthcare and health tech. These are correlated, interrelated mechanisms. So definitely it is going to help a lot. One of the important factor is how you can understand your agricultural lands and what kind of fertilizer you're going to use and what kind of mechanism you should use to help all these agri fields and all these farmers. So if we don't understand the power of land, maybe we are missing a lot. So I would love to compare India along with, I would love to probably spread my wings towards Africa, because Africa is one of the most powerful area where natural resources are really, really amazing. There are 54 different countries in Africa. The map is different, which we have seen from the childhood. Africa is really big. And there are bigger opportunities. Countries like India, countries like Africa, they have a lot of farmers. So blockchain can play very significant role of creating ecosystem all these farmers and then placing it probably in front of the world or maybe the government who can detect, understand and help these farmers instead of just saying that we have problems, we have issues, we don't know how to solve these things. No, there can be a solution. The most important vital factor. If we really don't want to understand what is organic, please, God's sake, let us understand organic is one of the vital way to have a proper healthcare. Western world taught us that, okay, fine, you don't brush with neem. Now, in some brand, they are saying that it has got neem, so you use it, your breath will be really great and your teeth will be fine, it will be white. Come on. The entire Bharat ecosystem with all those Ayurveda solution came from where? Came from all these farmers. In today's time, if we connect technology as a solution and definitely those old values and ecosystem with our agricultural field, this is going to be one of the best solution which world can see. From my opinion, these three sectors will rock like anything. Rest of all those ecosystem are really fine. They can adapt. And gaming, oh my God. Well, we were partner, I think, I forgot the year, maybe it was 2018 or 17, I don't remember. There was a crypto game conference. We became partner with them and we gave them a lot of mileage. The entire world came. They wanted to understand how gaming can make a disruption. Unfortunately, in our country, we don't understand power of game development. We feel that game development means creating games for kids. No, it's a technology. So with this, you can go with automotive, you can go with healthcare, you can go with robotics, You make things for your defense. You make things for your military. You create the simulation system. We did that for not many marine solutions. We did that for definitely for defense as well. So all these mechanisms we need to understand. And in today's world, deep tech is interconnected. You cannot just define things like, well, we are into game development. We cannot be connected with the crypto world or the blockchain world, or probably we cannot connected with maybe with the robotics industry. These are all interconnected and becoming interconnected. Probably that's the reason Albert Einstein once said that in top level, if you look at the entire mechanism of your education, in one point of time, everything becomes equal. And that equality is only logic. There is nothing beyond or except logic in the entire mechanism of education or technology. If an artist is drawing, utilizing the colors or using his pencil or maybe the pen, he is also doing and using his logical sense. Otherwise, you cannot create amazing pictures. So logic doesn't mean only science. Logic means everything. And that's what is now happening in the world. Does that answer your question?
Yes, indeed. So you mentioned some of the industries that blockchain is really going to change, and we're going to see a large disruption there. So it's so fascinating. So now that you mentioned, there's this connectivity between all these industries, and so how do you see, blockchain actually connecting them together, and what role will this new technology play in doing that?
Well, very simple answer. If we look at the healthcare system connected with blockchain, this is helping the sports industry. If you look at the sports industry connected with the blockchain system, which can understand, detect sports people, it is connecting the entertainment industry. If you look at the entertainment industry, wherein the base is block, it is connecting the advertisement industry. When you look at that, it is connecting the corporate world. So I see that in the uplifted countries, all these systems are interconnected. Probably it just needs a little bit of time for us to understand, grab the opportunity and grow.
Sure. So with that, sir, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for coming to the show. It was very indeed insightful and entertaining for us. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is mine.